Alright, guys. Good morning. Welcome again to the Road Warrior Project. Before I start, me and a couple buddies did our first episode together with our other podcast. It is called the Unlikely Trio Podcast. And, like I said, that's our first episode yesterday. We're starting it again. So, go ahead and go to Spotify and YouTube, or really any podcast platform, and look up the Unlikely Trio Podcast. It's going to be me and two other guys doing it together. So please go check it out. Like and subscribe to those channels. And I will say the audio was not the greatest. I edited it the best I could and improved it the best I could. But besides that, it's a good podcast. We enjoy doing it. But without further ado, welcome again to the Road Warrior Project podcast. Today I really don't have a quote I'm going to go over. It's more based off of don't let bad situations make you make bad decisions. And this past week with my job, I dealt with a lot of people making bad decisions based off of things that were going on in their life, if that makes sense. Like, they're making excuses of getting high or just doing bad things because something else happened in their life that was negative, which I understand. Like, if you have family that dies, or you lost a girlfriend, or you lost a boyfriend, or just something bad happened to your life that made a big impact, don't use those things as an excuse to make bad decisions and make your life worse. I know it sucks. I've lost plenty of family in my life. It sucked, and I wanted to drink and do other things, but I knew that was not going to be a good choice for me. It was only going to make my mental state worse, and probably my physical life worse as well, because when you get drunk, you do bad things. I don't get high on anything, but some people will use drugs to cope with the bad things that are happening in their life because they think it's going to make them feel better, and it might make you feel better at the time, but as we all know, doing any type of drug is going to lead to doing more drugs or that same drug over and over again, just to chase that good feeling that you felt at that time while you were high. So it's not good. As hard as it is, you have to find that mental clarity to just make good choices or to keep yourself away from making bad decisions. Again, it's easier said than done. Life is full of hard and bad, negative things that can happen to you. It's all about training your mind to just overcome it and do better. And with my job, again, I work in a prison, so I work with people, offenders, inmates that make bad decisions all the time, or they're addicted to drugs and they get high a lot. And what I can't stand is them coming into my office and being like, "Oh, I got high because my brother died." That sucks, I get that, but you can't use that as an excuse to just fucking make bad decisions. My brother died 4 years ago. I'm not getting high. I did get drunk a lot for a little bit because, that fucking sucked. But I quickly realized that was not a good thing to keep doing. It was not going to end well for me or anyone else if I kept going down that path. But I had to realize that. Some people don't have the strength to realize that or quit the bad habits. It's not easy. I can talk about it all I want, but it's not easy to just stay away from the bad habits when something bad happens. That's why I try to explain to these offenders sometimes that you need to make better choices. It's only going to make things worse if you keep continuing with these bad habits. I know something bad happened in your life, but you need to overcome it. You gotta deal with it in a better way. Go work out more or something. Working out helps me a lot. That's why I do it. But yeah, you can't let bad situations make you make bad decisions. It does not help you or anyone else. This goes down a bad path you don't want to go down, and it might be hard to get off that path. But that's kind of all I really wanted to touch on for this podcast. It's been something that was on my mind for all week, really. Just dealing with people, dealing with bad things, and making bad decisions because of those bad things. So, if you're listening to this podcast, if something bad happens in your life, just try your best to not go down a bad path, really. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee. That's all I really got to say about that. Thank you again for tuning into my podcast, The Road Warrior Project. And like I said at the beginning, go check out the Unlikely Trio podcast. That'll be me, my buddy Richard, and Howard doing that podcast together. I don't know how often we're going to be doing it yet, but we'll figure it out. So look it up on YouTube and Spotify. Even this podcast too. Like and subscribe to it if you haven't already. So thank you. I will see you guys next time on the Road Warrior Project.